Hi again, this is Tupo from Mzumbe University, and I hope you remember that I'm teaching a course called Data Warehouse and Data Mining, which was part of the course redesign workshop, which was conducted in Morogoro in 2019. Now we are in day 4. Are you transformed yet? Because I was somehow transformed on day 4. And if we recall, we have covered the concept map, the learning outcomes on day 2, the assessment on day 3, and now we are coming into day 4, which is about learning strategies. And then here, we were taught on different strategies that we can use in class to ensure that our students acquire the skills that we want them to acquire in the end of the course. And remember, do you remember my big dream also? I had my big dream. So it was very important for me also in this particular day to understand which learning strategies can I use to ensure that my students actually achieve what I wanted them to achieve. So again, if we look into the first concept, that is data management, my learning outcome, one of it was determine requirements of a data warehouse in an organization. Remember, we talked about formative and summative assessments that I used for this particular learning outcome. But then now the focus is learning strategy. Which strategy should I use to ensure that my students now acquire the skills that I want them to acquire so that my big dream can be achieved? So for this case, I thought of using collaborative and group work. Of course, I thought that it will deal more on a real world scenario. I also thought of using engagement in workplace, whereby now they can also do it online and physically. Remember, I talked also about yesterday, I explained about the guest lecture. So somehow also they can be somehow engaged on what others are doing, like these people in industry, what are they doing, and then be able to get the feeling of what is done there. But I also thought of class activities and exercises, and this is one of the strategies that is being used commonly. But then to me, I thought it was also important to use the flipped classroom to promote thinking, because most of the time we were taught about this in day 4, and I also thought that this will be good because I will be giving my students to learn about something while they're out of class, and then when they come back, we can have discussions when they have exhausted most of the information, and we can have good discussion in class. So this will also promote thinking. And then I thought of production of conceptual design, because remember, these are my students who are supposed to manage the data warehouse. But within that, there's also designing. So for them, it would have been important to produce some conceptual designs. I also thought of group discussions, whereby each group, I planned that I will give each group a different task or a different assignment, and then we come back to class, they come back to class, and then they present. And this is where the issue also of peer assessment comes in. I also thought of scenarios and guided analysis, whereby I would give my students a different scenario, and of course also give them a guidance on how they can analyze those different scenarios. So this will give them the skills actually I want my students to acquire. For example, also I thought of this another learning strategy, reserve brainstorming, whereby this was also taught, we were also taught up, introduced about this on day 4, and I felt like, wow, this would be good that I can easily prompt discussion in my class by maybe starting saying something differently, and then to see how will my student respond to that. So these are just part of the learning strategies that I use, and there are so many others, and you can have also so many other learning strategies based on which skills you want your learners to acquire, but at the same time also based on what are your learning outcomes, as well as ways of assessment that you have used. Thank you very much, and I wish you all the best.